everybody. Today we're talking about the ABRSM Grade 1 Timpani Solo March with Accompaniment. Now the first thing I need to know when I'm playing a timpani solo is what pitches am I going to need? What notes am I going to tune the timpani to? All right, now the composer's been very kind and written at the very beginning, timpani in A and D, but that's not enough. We need to know more. Which one is going to be the A and which one is going to be the D? We have to learn how to read bass clef, all right? Now if we take a look at the very first note, we see it's 1, 2, 3 lines up. Now the 3 lines up for us is going to be a D, all right? So that's going to be a D. The next note that we see is the first space. It's the bottom space. It's in the second measure there, and that's going to be our A. So we know that the A is going to be our lowest drum, and the D is going to be higher, and the D is going to be on our higher drum. Now there's lots of ways to tune these notes, and this is something you want to work with your teacher on. You can use a piano, a glockenspiel, a guitar, a friend who plays the flute, whatever you need that produces an accurate pitch. But today I have something really fun. These are called chime bars, and what we're going to do is we're going to play these. This is an A. We're going to get that note in our ear. We're really going to take the time to listen to it and hear the pitch. We're going to get that in our ear, and then we're going to take the pedal on our timpani all the way down to the bottom. We're going to play the note, and then we're going to tap. We're going to slowly slide the timpani up until it reaches the pitch that matches this. All right, let's give it a go. Here's the A. Now that we hear it, we're going to tap the drum. There we go. That's really good. Now we have a D here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to play the D. That's your D. We're going to play it. We're going to take the pedal all the way to the bottom. We're going to tap, and then we're going to slowly, I encourage you to do it very slowly until it matches the sound that you hear. Very nice. That is something that you want to practice every time you sit down at the timpani. It's always nice to work on that. You get much better, and that's how you become a great timpanist. Now, the next thing I like to look at is the time signature. Those are the 2 numbers at the beginning that tell us what time we're going to feel, how many beats we're going to have, and how that works. And as we can see, we have a 2-4. Now, the top number tells us how many beats we're going to have. So we're going to have 2 beats. The bottom number tells us what kind of beats those are going to be. A 4th, all right? So the bottom number is a 4, so it's a 4th, or a quarter note, all right? 1/4 is a quarter of something, so we have 2 quarter notes per bar. The next thing I look at is instructions. A lot of times the composer will tell us things that help us indicate what we should be feeling when we play this. And I think that's really important when we're playing music, is that we feel something while we're doing it. And the first instruction he's written right above the first bar is alla marcia, all right? And that means with marching, right? So we're going to feel like a march. The next instruction he's given us is the title, which is called March. So this is very clearly a march, a 2-4 march. And we're going to feel like a bunch of people walking down the street together and in unison. It's really quite deliberate. Dun, dun, dun. The next thing we're going to take a look at, right next to alla marcia, he's written a quarter note equals, he writes a little C.76. C dot means circa, and circa is a word that means hereabouts, like an estimate. So around 76. 76 means the beats per minute, and we use a metronome. And as you can hear, I've put 76 into my metronome. That's 76 beats per minute. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and jet, 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 jet. That way we kind of we have a better understanding of exactly the tempo he wants us to go. All right, so the next thing I like to look at are the dynamics. Now, if you don't know, dynamics are the indications of how strongly or how softly we play. All right, we begin this piece in forte, which means strong in Italian, right? It means strong. It doesn't mean loud, it means strong. And then immediately in bar 5, we have a little P, and that means piano. Piano, so that means really, really soft. Next, we have bar 9, forte again, with 3 little letters after it that say D-I-M. And D-I-M stands for the word diminuendo. And a diminuendo is a gradual getting softer, okay? We're gradually going to get softer. And as you look, this is really interesting. We have 1, 2, 3 bars, and then we're back to piano. So each one of those bars, we're going to work on playing them very different dynamics. So the very first one is going to say 1 and 2, and that's in forte. And then the next bar, we're going to take that down to probably mezzo forte, 1 and 2. And then the very next bar, maybe mezzo piano, 1 and 2. And then finally, we're in bar 12, and we're going to be playing piano, 1 and. So you're going to really work on making forte, mezzo piano, down to piano. Each bar, very distinctly different dynamics. We carry on, we come back to mezzo forte in, what's that, measure 14, 15, 16, 17, measure 17, back to mezzo forte, which is just a comfortable average sound, feels just sort of normal. And then we're back to forte from 21 to the end. Finally, if there's anything else we like to look at, there are places in this that we could mute. We talked about muting in one of the other grade 1 books, but I'm not going to worry about muting here. I think sometimes muting can work against you with timpani. We can over-mute at times. Sometimes it's nice to hear the ring of the drum, and I think in this case, we're just going to let everything ring and not worry about muting in this one. Okay? Great. What we're going to do now is have a little play along. We're going to play along with the metronome, and I'm going to count with you so that we can really practice counting aloud and knowing exactly where our beats are. And then we'll have a play along where I'll count you in, and you can play along with me and the accompaniment. Okay, before we start our play along, there's 2 things that I'm going to point out to you on the timpani that I'm always going to point out to you. And the first is playing spot. I think it's really important to pay attention to where we're playing on the drum. Now, I like to make a big pizza wedge with my sticks, where my sticks are pointing at the lugs. Now, the lugs are the bolts or the screws that go around the drum. And right here in the middle of this pizza, in the heart of the pizza, where the bulk of the cheese and the pepperoni are, that's where we're going to play, okay? Same with over here. We're going to aim for this spot right here. And what we're going to try to do is play in those same spots every time. That consistency is really good for your sound. If you notice in the middle, it's a very different sound than it is right here. And the edge, very different sound than right there. So that consistency is very important. The next thing I'm going to talk about, lifting. Always lifting your sticks off of the head. We're never hitting the drum. We're never playing into the drum. We're always simply dropping our sticks and lifting straight up. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and have a play along with our metronome. I'll count out loud and I'll point some things out to you. And yeah, let's just do that. I encourage you to count with me, okay? It's always good to count. 1, 2, 1 and 2, and here we go. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, and a 2. Piano, 2, and 1, mezzo forte, mezzo piano, piano, 2 and 1 and a 2 and 1, left, right, left, 2, 1 and a 2, 1, 2 and 1, 2, 1, 2 and 1, 2, forte, 1, 2 and 1, 2 and a 1 and 2 and 1, 2 and a 1. Very nice. Now at the end I did something very fun that you're very welcome to do. I think once you hit that last beat, 2 and a 1, that you make it very deliberate and you say, we're finished now, right? This is the end. Something that really announces that you finished the piece. The other thing I said in there that you may have noticed, in bar 14, I said to play left, right, left. And that's to make that transition easier to the drums. We're always looking to make that transition easier. Sometimes you can't avoid a crossover sort of situation, but anytime you can. For instance, the very first measure, you might play right, left, right, left, right, left, okay? Looking for any of those instances. Now, you're going to go ahead and have a play along with the accompaniment. I'll count you in and you can play along with the accompaniment. And as always, all percussioner members have access to the audio files. You can download these and put them on your device and play along with them anytime you want. I hope you're having fun. Send me an email if you've got any questions and I'll try to answer right away. Talk to you later. Bye.
1, 2, a 1, 2, ready, play.